Hello, I am back again, and this video is going to be dedicated to people who are in relationships with a emotionally unavailable person. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably should just skip this video because you probably aren't dealing with this right now and you don't really need to educate yourself on it unless you want to. So, I don't know if any of you guys. So it's weird. Okay, so you know how they say empaths or HSPs are like magnetically drawn to narcissists. In the same vein, there are people who are codependent or anxious, who have anxious attachment styles that are magnetically drawn to avoidance. It's basically the same thing, but different terminology. And this video is for you because, I've been trying to figure this out on my own for the past year, and I finally came across a term that was like, whoa. Okay, so if you are involved in a relationship with this dynamic, there is a term called intermittent reinforcement. What is that? I also took notes. I made notes. Yeah, I think if you're an INFJ, you like to journal and write and stuff. You spend a lot of time doing that. Yeah, I do that. Intermittent emotional exchange. What does that mean? That means, or this explains why the relationship is hot or cold. You have the runner or chaser dynamic. You have, just a lot of confusion. It's like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? You know, I think, or I feel, it has to do with trauma bonding. And let's delve into this. Let's understand this, guys. So that we can heal it. I mean, that's what it's about, right? And in order to heal something, you have to be aware of it. Like if you're not aware of it and you don't understand it, then you can't properly process it, digest it, and let it go. So I feel like this relationship dynamic between the empath and the narcissist, or the anxious avoidant, somebody with the anxious attachment disposition and avoidant attachment disposition, I think the dynamic occurs because they are mirroring each other's trauma to each other in order for you to heal it. You know what I mean? And then once you heal it, then you probably won't encounter it again because you've already integrated and let it pass. So this intermittent reinforcement, what it is you have one person who is anxiously attached or empathic, and we have these people-pleasing tendencies, and we have these fears, or this fixer syndrome, like, oh, I see somebody who is like in need of help. I see somebody who is in need of healing, and I want to help them. Right? Let's just admit this. We have to be radically honest with ourselves. And then on the opposing end, you have this person who's just like pushing you away or manipulating you or using you. And they use this intermittent reinforcement to keep us hooked. What do I mean by that? So what they do is they inflict a lot of abuse and manipulation and gaslighting, and occasionally they'll give you love and care. And then that, we keep like going back for that fix. You're like, oh, this person's mistreating me, and this person is like disrespecting me, and this person is doing all these weird things to me that obviously doesn't sit well with me. But then occasionally they'll show me love and care, and that's what I'm desperate for, right? Because I haven't learned how to generate that within myself. You following me? We need to understand this so we can get past this. Okay, so when we were children, yeah, I understand that we were traumatized and probably emotionally neglected, but we're adults now, and it's time to parent ourselves, you know, to take care of ourselves, to love ourselves and care for ourselves the way we never were cared for or loved as children, to heal that inner child within ourselves so that we can operate in a more holistic way. So, recognizing this trauma bond, you know, is actually a very necessary part of your healing journey. Like you need to recognize why you are attracted to particular people who are emotionally unavailable and avoidant, you know? And and I feel like if you watched my previous recording on projections, yeah, all we're doing is projecting our things onto other people, and they're showing us parts of ourselves that we've been running from or neglecting. And it's time to like just take a step back and just realize that so that you can bring yourself back to yourself and integrate these things and heal them, you know? And then in return, you can help others who are going through the same thing. And then they can ripple effect, Ripple effect. Yeah, so I don't know what else I have to say on that. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a relationship with this dynamic, just remember that it's probably a trauma bond, and that's not good or bad, right or wrong. I don't think anything is good or bad, right or wrong. I get You get to a place in your life where, like, I don't know, it's weird. Okay, for me, before I would see things like kind of like good or bad, right or wrong. But now I'm like, there's no good or bad, right or wrong. People are just existing. They're just being. It is what it is. Whatever they show you is what it is. You know. Um, for me, I don't necessarily operate in a way where I see things as negative or positive. Have you heard of the term toxic positivity? It exists. It's a real thing. I used to be that person. I used to be like, if somebody was having a bad day or like something, they were encountering something difficult, instead of like giving them the space to process that, I would just be like, it's okay, just be happy. You know, Toxic positivity. It's not being real. It's not acknowledging what's realistically happening. And it's also just kind of like, not validating a person's feelings or your feelings if you were to be completely honest with yourself. So what I do now is I try I've been practicing viewing life through a realistic perspective. So acknowledging realistically what is happening in the moment, but then at the same time looking for the silver lining. And let me explain that. So, let's be real. As you go through life, there's a lot of things that happen that make you feel very uncomfortable. And a lot of people perceive that as something bad. But I don't think it's bad. It's just shit happens, you know? And we just gotta like deal with it. And by dealing with it, what I mean is accepting it, radically accepting it just as it is, you know? Um, And then what I mean by the silver lining is seeing like the light ahead in the darkness, like, so what is this teaching me? Or, you know, what do I need to learn or process or integrate in order for me to like, you know, not let this affect me anymore, in such a negatively adverse way. Good example. So I've gone through my fair share of depression to the point where, like, when I encounter it, it doesn't affect me nearly as much as it did when I was younger. So, like, most recently, I got depressed. And normally, I think that the average person would probably be like stuck in a mental space where like they're maybe like concentrating or focusing their energy or attention on things that are going wrong. And what I mean by wrong is making me feel uncomfortable, you know? And before I would beat myself up for feeling that way. Be like, why are you feeling negative? And oh, you have to like, like just muscle up and like get out there and like live life, like go to work and put on this happy face and pretend like you're okay. No, now I'm like, okay, I'm feeling depressed. So I radically accept the situation as it is. And I'm going to give myself time to process this. I'm going to give myself time to sit with this. I'm going to look at the silver lining. Obviously right now I feel very uncomfortable. I'm going to let myself rest. And I'm also going to allow myself to process this. I'm going to look at what this is trying to teach me, because obviously it's here to show me something within me that's not balanced, that's not aligned, and I need to, like investigate this so that I can clear it, So that's kind of what I mean. I don't know if you got what I meant by that. And this can be applied to like any emotion on the negative spectrum that's triggering uncomfortable emotions within you, whether it be anger or resentment, it's like instead of like pretending it doesn't exist, which is basic toxic positivity, pushing it down, you just accept like, okay, right now I'm angry, and I'm gonna accept that, and I'm gonna explore why I'm being triggered and what I'm supposed to learn from it so that I can really, really, really accept that part of myself and integrate it and process it and digest it and let it go so that when a similar situation occurs in the future, I can deal with it more graciously. And if somebody comes to me in that particular wavelength or tone, because I am familiar with it and because I've accepted it, I can accept it in them and give them the space to process it too. You know what I mean? But yeah, I went way off topic here. But yeah, going back to like the empath and narcissist and the anxious attachment and the avoidant, emotionally unavailable person, just realize that, this dynamic exists because you guys are basically mirroring and projecting your demons and your dark sides upon each other in order for you to heal. What happens, I notice most commonly, is like you start like playing the victim role, like, oh, this person hurt me or this person. But let's be real, radical honesty, guys. We allow these people to do this to us, yes? And we blame them for our pain instead of taking responsibility for it. Let's just be really real about it. And they're giving us the opportunity to take a look at ourselves and to heal those darker aspects of ourselves that we've been neglecting and running away from for most of our lives. They're giving us the opportunity, if you're viewing life through that lens, to heal ourselves, to become more aware, to foster more awareness of ourselves, and to make peace with it, So, yeah, I mean, we allow or we engage or disengage, So we all have choices. We all have free will, and a lot of things that happen in life isn't to make you feel smaller or less than. It's actually giving you the opportunity to step into a bigger place, to return to yourself. I mean, that's a common theme for me recently is return to yourself, you know? Also surrendering things that are out of your control. There's a lot of time for me, and probably you, I spent a lot of energy and attention focusing on things that provoked fear, anxiety, and worry. And now I realize that a lot of these things that I'm ruminating on is completely out of my control. So instead of wasting my precious time and energy on such things, I just surrender it. And I feel like the more you practice it, the better you get. And then you keep your channel or your beacon clear and open to receive everything that you're supposed to receive. And usually when your channel is clear, that means you're in alignment with yourself. You're in your seat of power, and everything just that's when like manifestation happens. I want to say more effortlessly because you have a clear channel. Manifestation is blocked, like, and what I mean by that is like, if you have a vision of the life you want to live, you want your projector, you as a projector, you want it to be clear. No blockages, no no locks or blocks, so that you can effortlessly project your vision into this reality. Manifest what you need into this reality effortlessly, but you need to do the work to clear your channel first, clear your beacon. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. If you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. And thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.